Hi everyone, very welcome to iExamB for 50% faster preparation for jobs. My name is Chandraprakash Joshi, and today I am so pleased to welcome Mr. Dinesh Kapila sir, who has worked with NABARD. And I would not take his time because I would like to listen from him his experience of NABARD. Over to you, sir. First, I would like to understand what has been your journey into NABARD so that I can go deeper into the discussion. And my purpose here is to tell the young graduates who are looking for building their career with institution like NABARD, the Apex Bank for rural development and agriculture in the country, and other regulatory bodies like RBI, SEBI, IRDA, or other development financial institutions, because these are emerging as a great career opportunities for the youngsters of today. And thank you very much, sir, for giving time to us and to our students. Thank you and welcome to iExamB. Over to you for a brief introduction of your career with NABARD.
Mr. Joshi, thank you so much. It's my pleasure that I'm here, and I thank you for the kind invitation.
Thank you, sir.
Molding youngsters has been a passion for me, even in service. Somewhere around the time, I think even when I was in AGM, if some youngsters would join NABARD, I did take out time even at that stage to tell them, read this, read that, go about this. So I'm very happy to be here and to take up this opportunity to share my experience. Firstly, be it NABARD or be it even some of the other bodies you mentioned, but I can talk about NABARD per se because I was there for three plus decades before I retired as CGM from Himachal Pradesh, Chief General Manager. The thing is, I found NABARD has a strong can-do and national spirit. Now, I come from an army officer's background.
Okay.
My parents, my father especially. So that spirit was always there. And I would say, it's not that it was not there in Steel Authority, which I joined, but from there I came here initially. But that NABARD has that spirit ingrained. We may not demonstrate it outwardly, but that spirit very well defines our work and our policy framework and our administrative work on the side. The second part is the wide exposure I have gained in life. Very few organizations in India today can give you an opportunity to study banking, to study institutional development, to study refinance and loan opportunities at the base level, and then to get a first-hand view of what makes rural India work. You know, I would put it simply, I wrote it in my book, in my introduction. What is the mix of politics, culture, education, and the size of the economy which makes rural India work? That insight comes by working 20, 30 years. And in that process, I found a huge degree of respect conferred upon me, as also upon my colleagues from government officers, banks, NGOs, trusts with whom we came in contact, or even scientists at the KVKs or universities. The thing is, you have to be committed. If they find you are committed and sincere, I found people reach out to you everywhere. And as I went up the ladder, as God blessed, I found more such opportunities coming my way. So I feel today I have a knowledge. I won't say I'm an expert, but at least I have a working knowledge of rural supply chains, value chains, of rural economies, of the credit markets, of the different and diverse nature of credit markets, of how rural cultures develop, and how India is developing, and how rural India impacts urban India, and urban India impacts rural India. You get to work, if I may say, so that youngsters understand, within a regional office, you will have Department of Refinance, you will have a Department of Financial Inclusion and Banking Technology, you will have a Department of Data Analytics, you will have Microfinance, you will have developmental departments with a focus on farm sector and non-farm sector. You will have a corporate planning department. Then Department of Supervision, statutory work. Then there is, of course, economic research. Now, if you get even an opportunity, you may not work in all as a grade A, grade B officer because you will be rotated, but you can't be over rotated.
Right.
But you start getting insights as you sit together. Then as you go to the field, and being a DDM is a huge, heady mix. In fact, people told me, and I tell youngsters, don't get over involved. You have to have your sense of logic and analysis.
Yeah.
If I put it in Hindi, तुम सब कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
सब कुछ नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज डिस्ट्रिक्ट डेवलपमेंट मैनेजर बनाया हुआ है तो हम पूरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट का विकास अकेले नहीं कर सकते.
अकेले नहीं कर सकते, सबके साथ काम करना, प्रायोरिटी भी बनानी है, और कुछ अगले के लिए छोड़ो, खुद करके जाओ.
बट इसमें सर बिकॉज डीडीएम के बारे में बहुत बार क्वेश्चन आते हैं. आई इंटरेक्ट ऑल्सो विद स्टूडेंट ऑन यूट्यूब ऑल्सो ऑन कोरा. तो डीडीएम का जो रोल है वो लोगों को समझ में नहीं आता. एक तो वो साउंड करता है बहुत डीएम से, जैसे कि बिकॉज डीएम इज डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट, तो उनको लगता है पता नहीं एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव काम आने वाला है यहाँ पे. बट नबार्ड इज ए फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन एंड जो डीडीएम का रोल है बहुत ही यूनिक है अमंग द रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज, अमंग द डेवलपमेंट फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, बिकॉज एकदम ग्रास रूट कनेक्शन है. और खास बात यह है जो मेरे को अपने इंटरेक्शन में समझ में आई कि नबार्ड का एक्चुअल में ऑफिस नहीं होता है डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे. ऑफिस तो स्टेट हेडक्वार्टर्स में ही है, डीडीएम लेकिन फील्ड में काम करते हैं. तो थोड़ा विस्तार से बताएंगे हाउ दिस डीडीएम वर्क्स, व्हाट इज द मैंडेट, व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस एंड व्हाट आर द अपॉर्चुनिटीज हियर.
See, let us put it this way. India is a land, even today, agriculturally, we may not contribute much to the GDP as compared to before. But the population is out there in the rural areas. Even if semi-urban India is coming up, even if settlements are coming up, congregations are there, but they are rural clusters.
Right.
Now, if you step, then we have a chart mandate of development through credit.
Development through credit.
That is written there. It's in our charter. Now, if it's your mandate, and you want to have developmental initiatives not only conceived but grounded, you have to have somebody in the district. It cannot be I went, saw, and came back.
Yes.
It has to be somebody with a presence on ground. Number two, youngsters need not fret. It's a statutory organization of Government of India. So our policy guidelines are very well defined and delegation of powers.
Okay.
So when you go as a DDM, you go with a very well defined role, expectations, targets, and monitoring all flow within the system upon you. So when you are out in the field, your main mandate is monitoring the various initiatives, including rural infrastructure projects or any other projects which NABARD may be implementing, like say in Himachal, it could be tribal development projects and watershed development projects also. Secondly, you will be expected to be good at liaison with the developmental initiatives being undertaken by NGOs, trusts, and the government. And where we can associate, where we can put a grant assistance or bring about our role, that is actively encouraged. It's a part of his mandate. Thirdly, very important, which you will come to know only if you join NABARD, monitoring of rural credit. It is the task. You have to sit with the lead district manager, you have to sit with the LDO of RBI, and you have to sit with the government departments to draw up the potential linked credit plan, define where are the expectations for investment and credit flow, put it together in a yearly document, and have the vision to pass it on to the district authorities, to banks, as and when they meet you, and then also to actively associate at the block level meetings and district level meetings to propagate the same and give that knowledge. That monitoring of credit flow is a very important mandate. The information is shared by banks. Also, implementation of government-sponsored programs.
So I am assuming here you have worked as a DDM because
I have had a long tenure, and let me tell you.
So what are the development during that time when you were a DDM and in the potential link plan, district credit plan, what progress happened over a year? क्या आपको challenges आए? I am sure गांव के level के जो challenges होते हैं वो must be there. There must be many things in the ground which are not in the paper.
Before becoming serious about it, I'm going to give a lighter touch.
Okay.
Once I was sitting in Nawashehar at a meeting. It's a district in Punjab. And I was in one of the smaller villages with a huge team of district officers. So I spoke in simple Punjabi and Hindi on developmental initiatives.
Right.
Later on, the Sarpanch got up. He was a simple guy. Walked up to me, embraced me warmly, kept on embracing me, holding me tight and saying, बहुत चंगा लगया, बहुत मजा आया, मैनू समझ कुछ नहीं आया पर चंगा बहुत लग गया.
This was good.
That I liked it. I didn't understand it, but I liked it.
समझ कुछ नहीं है. आपने तो हिंदी में ही बोला था या पंजाबी में बोला था, not in English.
So that's one lighter part. But yes, I was looking after 3 districts in Punjab.
Yeah.
It was 2. The third came about it, but towards the end of my tenure, for 2 years, I did that also.
Right.
See, the problem is I had a mix of urbanized areas with a strong industrial area, a strong rural bias in some areas, partially hilly areas, and some plain areas.
Right.
Highly productive farmland to partially productive farmland.
Right.
My challenge is, if I look back, and I'm talking of way back 2002 to 2007 or 8, my challenges lay in how do I reach out to the landless farmers, tenant farmers, or the small farmer? And how do we motivate bankers to extend credit to them? Number 2, if the rural cooperative banks are feeling a little under stress due to competition, how to tell them that the Angrezi wala private sector banks which have just come up, ultimately banking is the same.
Right, banking is same.
It does not make any difference. The basic framework has to adhere to RBI mandated policies and the bank's internal policies.
Absolutely, yes.
So, teaching that, reaching out to people for grounding self-help groups, because we in Punjab as a culture don't group up easily. More individual mindset, bringing about joint liability groups, monitoring credit flow, and with Nawashahar, which was my additional district, having a huge NRI presence, our credit deposit ratio would remain very low.
Right, because people have money, so they deposit, but there is hardly
they don't
any
go to economic activities. I even had bank branches say, "Sir, what do I do? I have 15 crores of deposits, but a 50 lakh loan portfolio."
Correct.
Nobody comes forward.
Right. But for the interest of our audience, I will tell that the mandate is to have a good credit deposit ratio, because if there is good credit in the district, it means there are more activities which are being financed by the lending institutions. So normally what happens in most of the Indian district in rural areas, there is more deposit and the money is coming to the bigger areas, maybe say Bombay, Delhi, where big industries are taking this money. So we generally go for a good credit credit deposit ratio of say 60% plus.
Yes.
No? So,
and between 40 to 60, we can be satisfied. Around 20-25 means ridiculously low.
Means and the money is going to the cities for development.
And in those days, Nawashahar used to clock somewhere around 20.
Oh.
So I would even prepare, sitting in my own place, office, sheets of paper, condense it into 2-3 pages, then Xerox 60 sets, go across to the district meetings and circulate them. These are the financing opportunities. These are the Government of India programs you can dovetail. This is how we can start making a beginning. Sensitizing the deputy commissioners. You have to be active. Then we had farmers club programs. How do you motivate farmers to group up, share their knowledge? Things like farmer producer companies came much later. My time was groups, credit, monitoring, and rural infrastructure. NABARD had taken on a huge role. In our time, we were monitoring each project.
So this is coming from the RIDF fund?
Yes, RIDF.
RIDF fund. Because RIDF people are aware because of the shortage in the priority sector lending, you have to invest in RIDF.
Yes, but you see,
how this money is being spent, because I am also not aware how these projects are being financed by NABARD.
See, it is very much a very scientifically worked out area. Firstly, the shortfall is worked out. That's at the macro level between RBI and NABARD.
Correct.
Right? That's at the macro level, apex level.
Yes.
At the state institutional level, each state defined on its geography, status, economic status, population profile, etc., gets a certain allocation.
Right.
And it has to be in conformity with the state's ability to borrow under certain articles of the Constitution of India.
Okay.
Right.
So state is borrowing from NABARD here. State
Yes.
It is borrowing from NABARD.
In NABARD. Now, when we go to the state, we lend to this finance department.
Okay.
The finance department in turn passes on the funds to the implementing departments.
Okay.
But the projects will flow from implementing departments to NABARD with the concurrence of the finance department. And they are reasonably well worked out projects. You have to, of course, appraise them. You have to have consultants who go through them, who point out weaknesses. Many times you have to make their macro level appraisal document or a project document into a more breakable and a more defined document as to what exactly are they looking for. It could, and we give them a target sector wise. How much are we thinking is good for roads, bridges? How much for irrigation? How much for public health, school education buildings, laboratories and school buildings? All this is worked out across the table. And the chief secretary normally chairs 3 to 4 meetings a year. It's called the high part committee to review the progress of projects. In any case, the regional office has its direct meetings in the field with the chief engineers, superintending engineers. We also go on active monitoring in the field. They are graded project-wise size of the project.
Yes.
So it's an extensive work which is undertaken. It's not simply a check kaat ke chala gaya.
Right. So if I ask you, sir, what is the quantum of money? Because say take for example Punjab, or you were in Himachal Pradesh. So on an annual basis, what kind of money NABARD was lending to state government?
Mr. Joshi, I have retired some time back, but roughly I will say roughly.
Yeah, roughly.
It will run between 1,200 crores to 1,500 crores a year. Project finance per these states which you mentioned.
Right.
Absolutely year on year separately. Which means every year around 1,200 to 1,500 crores.
Right.
Is being sanctioned, and this is not limits. It is investment credit, which means they have to set up projects which are physically implemented on ground.
Yes. So why I'm asking this, because many a time when people are preparing for any government job, people want to see, means I also want to see what kind of impact I am creating. So here, say 1,500 crore kind of impact only through the RIDF. So there are various other things NABARD is doing. We will come to that refinance.
No, I'll just tell you one. I'll take 2 minutes on RIDF. When you go for monitoring, you realize the impact.
Yeah.
You will come to, say, simple thing, a rivulet and a bridge. Animal health improves, access to healthcare improves, access to education improves.
Correct.
Drinking water. Why should I finance drinking water? If your health improves, the mandate spent in recovering from illness goes down.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, an officer aspiring to join NABARD has to understand the impact his institution makes on ground.
Right.
And it is occurring.
Right.
Then if you are in Himachal, if you make another road, for example, so it is good on roads now, transportation of horticulture produce, to healthcare and everything else improves manifold.
Yes.
If you set up irrigation projects, there's a huge cost to it, I do not deny, because of the length of the rising main, rising all the way up.
Right.
But those parched areas start getting water.
Yeah.
So, and we keep modifying as the years pass on. Like now, ropeways have been added. Very good for hill states.
Yes.
Earlier, it was not there.
Yeah.
So, changes occur. The NABARD I left was not the NABARD I joined.
Yeah.
But the change comes so seamlessly, you think, mera wahi NABARD hai. The same will happen with the generation who joined around my time when I retired around 21, 22. And they will find the changes occurring by 50, 60 by the time they go.
Absolutely. Yes. No, this is very interesting, because you said the NABARD you joined and the NABARD you left. So can you summarize the change? Because then people can assume today they join NABARD what it is today, and by the time they retire, maybe another 30, 35 years. So what kind of changes will be there? The contribution of agriculture in GDP is going down, but the population dependent on agriculture and rural economy is still huge. So what has been your journey, and what do you see in coming decades? This job is.
I'll put it simply.
Yeah.
When I joined NABARD, it was purely refinancing, as such, and supervision.
Yeah.
with some degree of.
Sir, we will come to refinance after that. First, to some,
Yes,
because people don't know what is refinance.
I'll come to that, but
Yes,
I'm just saying how it changed.
Hmm.
So a bit of mostly refinancing, supervision, and some monitoring at the base level.
Okay.
Of district-oriented studies we used to do.
Right.
Coming from that, and if the rate of refinance was so well worked out, if I am lending to so-and-so bank system at this rate, he or she cannot lend beyond this rate later on. Now, it is I am lending at this rate. What you lend it is up to you.
Right.
Right? That was a huge change. It may not be understood, but it's a huge change. Then planning, rural infrastructure, developmental initiatives being upgraded exponentially, financial inclusion, banking technology, bringing cooperative banks on core banking. Right. And now, if I look today, venture capital, startups, vertical farming near urban centers may be a challenge in the years ahead, if not today. Traditional farming, and then we have maybe poly houses with a more scientific approach to farming. AI monitored or blockchain. All these things are evolving. They are still not being implemented, but they are evolving.
Right, right.
Grading packing units are coming up across India.
Correct.
Slowly, you will find the impact coming. It's not happening right now, but it will happen. Because now it's happening at a level where total as a quantum, it may not make a difference. So planning changed so much. Expectations of government of India changed so much over the years that you have to play a much more active role. We started as a small institution. Now it's a 9 lakh crore plus institution. So
9 lakh crore is what, sir?
With the balance sheet.
Balance sheet. Okay.
So now, if you look at it carefully, what I joined, what I left changed a lot. But did I feel it? No, because the uniqueness remains development as it occurs and as the population evolves. You also learn to perceive. I worked in Kashmir, right, as OIC at Srinagar, based at Srinagar for Kashmir Valley and Ladakh. The office was at Jammu. Now, what were Kashmir's aspirations would be very different from, say, Himachal. Because when I was there way back 12, 14 or 15, whatever, 3 years, 3 years plus, in a very negative atmosphere, you are kindling hope. You are telling people, we are there. You are telling them, we will move with you. We will embed farmer producer companies. We will bring about rural women getting a change, and we'll come and sit one-to-one with you. We are not afraid to come to you. Himachal already knows it.
Right.
It's a hilly state. Yes. But their expectation will be different. So you learn to mold your work according to your area also.
Right, right.
So it happens. It comes, but you have to have that passion in you.
Right. So,
that
sir,
I'm bringing a change.
Yeah. So we would like to understand how this refinance works, and in which sector NABARD does refinance, what is its impact. And you also mentioned about now the new things like venture capital, startups. So there also NABARD is playing this significant role, and this is going to evolve with time. So how it was like more focus on refinance earlier, and the new things coming up related to new technologies or venture capital. So how is this journey?
See, refinance is different from a loan. In refinance, you first extend the loan as an institution. Then you come back to NABARD and seek funding assistance against the amount lent and outstanding at the ground level. Okay. A loan is different. That I have lent you, now you go and do the lending.
Right, right.
So it makes a difference in the way a bank approaches it. It's more of asset liability management also.
Right. So
in that sense, it's more of that. And in the case of cooperative banks, it is slightly different. We have a minimum involvement issue. Short-term credit is there. So for the benefit of our youngsters, I'm trying to be very simple because otherwise they'll not catch on.
Yeah.
You have investment credit, which means the activity which is loaned against by the banks. It generates benefits over a certain period of time. So it could be a tube well, a tractor, in that sense, or a land development activity, underground pipelines, etc., or setting up an orchard. Ab initio. Then there is short-term credit. Short-term credit is what is like a limit in a bank. The banks lend it to the farmers, say for a year, which is primarily now through the Kisan credit card only. And then it has to be repaid back at the end of the year, and then recycled again. Investment credit, the repayment can occur over the next 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, as defined by the banking system.
Okay.
So our refinance is also structured accordingly.
Yeah.
The short-term refinance, only cooperative banks and rural banks, regional rural banks are eligible. To some extent, they have brought in one or two other institutions, but to some extent.
And these are soft loan, means interest rate is quite low when NABARD gives these loan?
No, I won't say that.
Okay.
I would say short-term loan is certainly concessional. Cooperative banks and regional rural banks up to a certain limit. Beyond that, a slightly higher rate starts operating.
So what is the incentive for the lending institution to take refinance if the loan is not very low cost?
No. See, they have to do their asset liability management also.
Okay. So,
and it is, when I'm saying it is not low, I'm also not saying it is high. It is priced appropriately.
Okay.
We also have to earn. There were certain lines of credit which used to come from the RBI, if I may say so. Though I don't know whether I should say in an interview here. Those have over the years wound down.
Wound down, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, if that's not there, then NABARD also has to see. So
Right.
it would also be having partly interest subvention by the government of India, at times on our own. But the pricing is defined and taken to an appropriate level where the banks come forward year on year. So investment credit and short-term credit, both are there. Short-term credit, the cooperative banks like in Haryana, if I remember last, the limits were around 4,500 crore a year.
Okay.
So that itself works as an incentive for the cooperative system to be engaged in rural activities. Otherwise, they would not have the ability to be so much involved. You have to have the banks as a intermediary channel,
right,
able to borrow from you and work on.
But for banks, still it is a comparatively reasonably cost and also matching their asset liabilities, because whenever there is a shortage of fund, they have NABARD available to them. And it is also helping other side the development of the rural sector.
Yes. And let me put it this way. Fundamentally, refinancing is a central banking function.
Central function. Oh, but does RBI has anything nowadays? Because I don't remember anything.
No, but if you see the initial structure,
okay,
NABARD Act,
right,
National Rural Credit Long-Term Operations Fund, which is also funded a lot by RBI and NABARD in equal measure.
Okay.
Over the years, the profile changes. Yes. Let's not go into certain areas. I would rather not today.
Right.
But it's basically any time refinancing is a central banking function by its very nature. That's why RBI has so many instruments at its call.
Right.
And that it's bestowed upon it.
Yeah.
So that carries on. Our main purpose of discussion today is, if a youngster wants to join NABARD, he or she will not be focused on one area.
Right.
You have to be, if I may say so, a voracious reader. You must get a feel of the subject and department you are posted to. If you are rotated out, again you have to reskill yourself, re-educate yourself. We have a very good training system in NABARD Staff College, which caters to its officers. We also have the Bankers Institute of Rural Development,
which is in Lucknow. So, because BIRD, I know, I have been there a few times.
Yes. So our sister campus, next to it is NABARD Staff College.
Okay, next is NABARD Staff College.
Right. So there are two bodies there. And the Staff College is primarily for officers of NABARD.
Okay.
And we have, then of course, NABARD does give opportunities. As the years will pass, the youngsters will rise to go to maybe College of Agriculture, Banking, other Apex institutions. I have trained 5 times at the IIMs or at ASCI or etc. other places. And you learn a lot by mixing with others, getting to know them. But you have to update yourself. You have to know your subject. You have to have an understanding and feel of banks. What is a bank? How does it function? What is a bank's balance sheet? And then you also have to have a feel of what is microcredit, what is SIDBI doing in it, what are MFIs doing in it, what are NGOs doing in it, and what are we doing in it.
Yeah. So, sir, let me put some questions which generally come through our student, through those who are aspiring for the jobs. So, most of the people, first, when they look for the government job, they look for UPSC. UPSC, you know that in every family, people want that somebody should be an IAS officer. But we have always limitation of the vacancies.
Yes.
And with time, the number of applicant in government jobs are increasing. This is a very strange phenomena in our country, that the interest in the government job is always very much, and of course people want to have a good career, good salary, good position, and opportunity to serve the country, because as we were discussing in this conversation, a large part of the country is still middle income group, lower income group, living in rural India. So how is this career opportunity overall for the personal benefit of somebody, for the career growth, and also for working for the society, working for the country, working with NABARD, how solve all these
Mr.
opportunities
Joshi,
are being addressed here?
I'll just say 1 minute something else.
Mm-hmm.
This aspiration level for government jobs,
Yeah.
it's occurring primarily because the medium scale industrialist still has not learned good HR practices to retain talent and value talent. That drives people to look for government jobs. It's not job insecurity per se.
Right.
There has to be a deeper meaning behind it. After retirement, I have been mentored many. I am on the incubation centers with 2-3 places.
Okay.
And I have been talking about it. Sad to say, our chambers of commerce must do this. Having said that, I come back to NABARD. As I've already said, it's a kaleidoscope of multiple activities. Like analytical skills, writing skills, speaking to numbers. Numbers have to speak to you. You have to pick up that habit over the years. Remembering your data.
Yeah.
Understanding the state you are posted to, understanding the department you are posted to. You have to evolve as an asset to the senior team. Who is the most valuable officer to me? If I call him and say, son, what's this all about? Sir, circular dated said this said this, I have worked out this. You give him the right perspective, he'll happily go back and come. But my faith and trust in him has gone up. So the youngster gets this opportunity as a grade A officer.
Yeah.
4 years later, normally, it could be more, sometimes due to stagnation, etc. You get your interview call for grade B.
Yes.
What I want to emphasize is there is no automatic promotion.
Right. Right.
Sometimes more could get promoted. It could be vacancy-led also. Yes. But on the whole, people have to prove they have picked up on the job, they have contributed on the job, and their performance levels and interview speaks for their knowledge which they have gained. None of us expect miracles. Yeah. But you expect a certain hold of that particular officer, he or she, whatever it may be, on that subject. If they have gathered that, you become grade B. Then you get a much more better level at AGM. And an assistant general manager normally heads the departments like microfinance or BB, farm sector or financial inclusion. Okay. They will be leading those departments. Yeah. Then you move to senior management. That is deputy general manager. CGM, yeah. There is a formal test followed by an interview. Written test is also there. Yes, absolutely. Computer based. Yeah. It's as of now. What the years bring, I do not know. Right. As of now, in RBI also it is there. Yeah, it is there. Yes. Yeah. Yes. We have evolved from the RBI. So basic pattern. Yes, so the DGM level comes in that level. Now a DGM will have certain number of departments with him. At the state level, regional office. Yes. At head office, it could not be there, but it will certainly be there at the state level. Right. Then general manager. Yes. Where multiple departments would be there, allocated to general manager. And he would be in a state level scenario, either the head in a small state or the number 2, and then the chief general manager. Right. Right. Each set of responsibility and designation brings with it carefully crafted policies, and delegation of powers.
Right.
Absolute manuals are there, well defined, approved by the board. So we need not think. It's a very professional, different organization with strong policy. So that is there. A youngster can aspire to retire as a chief general manager, provided his career profile keeps improving, and over the years, he can reach that level. We have above that 2 deputy managing directors and the chairman.
Okay.
Those are appointed by the government of India through an open process. Normally, they have been from NABARD, the DMDs. The chairman normally could come from outside or from within. These are all government of India matters. Right. I am saying up to CGM, legitimately, rightfully, an officer can have the expectation of rising and retiring at that.
Correct. So, yeah, CGM is same as I think in RBI.
Same in RBI.
Normally means
you have Mr. Joshi, because you worked in RBI, one level more, executive director.
Executive director, yes.
That's not there in NABARD as of now. It used to be earlier, many years back.
Okay. So here CGM and DMDs.
Yes, right. That's our profile.
But in RBI also, most of the people can go to CGM level because ED posts are very few.
Yes.
So as a grade B, if you join, so most of them will retire as CGM.
And RBI is also a policy, it seems, of having a CGM in charge and another CGM. In our case, we only have the CGM.
Yeah, right.
One department, one CGM.
Right.
Or regional office, one CGM.
On this line, so let me also talk about the perks and facilities, because as I remember, it is at par which is in RBI or other regulatory bodies, and which is actually very, very good, because I remember when I was in RBI, one of our batchmate, he got selected in UPSC and joined as IPS officer, and then he told, yaar meri to salary kam ho gayi. So that is what I remember. Nowadays, I am also not much updated, but I know that the salaries, perks, etc., are at par in NABARD. So do you have any comment to make on that? Because you have been with NABARD for 3 decades and more, have lived in various places, offices in state capitals, and also as DDM. So how is the life in NABARD, the personal life, the perks, facilities, or some challenges also?
See, since I also had the opportunity to interact with some of your students,
yes, sir.
So they have also asked me sometimes.
Yes, sir.
So I'll answer this question. See, in a public channel, I would not like to go with data.
Yeah.
But I will certainly say the pay and perks are very good. They do get revised time to time, and they are a motivational tool by themselves.
Yeah.
We also have to remember that unlike, say, the banking system, we will be moving from state to state. So I would say part of the perks and pay also caters to your total displacement. See, if I made a certain set of friends and colleagues with very warm links in Kashmir, I'm just giving an example, over 3.5 years.
Yeah,
but when I have shifted to, say, another state, their context remains rooted with Kashmir or Jammu.
Right.
But for me, my perspective changed the moment I turned up here.
Right.
So it comes with a slight cost, if I may say so, or forgetting something to some extent, and building upon another set of relationships. Cultures change, languages change, the fundamentals remain the same. Madurai ki mirchi और कश्मीर के एप्पल के इशू फंडामेंटल मार्केटिंग एंड कॉस्टिंग के हैं, बट द लैंग्वेज, द कल्चर, द आउटपुट ऑल चेंजेस, एंड द मोड ऑफ कल्टीवेशन एंड मार्केटिंग. सो डिस्प्लेसमेंट is state to state, of course, with one tenure of DDM in between. Where if you are lucky, you get your own home state.
Okay.
Other than that, my request to some of the students was, don't keep looking at the perks. They will come.
They'll come automatically. Whatever is due, it will be given.
It's a model employer.
Yeah.
You don't have to request. You don't have to go around looking at it. You will fill your computer, you will get it. Once you do your entries, your manager approves, it comes.
Yes.
But a mature youngster, if he joins NABARD, should first go and make a good impression professionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
कि मेरा काम क्या है, मेरे को करना क्या है. Gossip spreads. When some youngsters join who keep looking at every penny which is going to come their way, their own juniors and fellow colleagues come and tell, वो लड़का तो या लड़की सिर्फ यही देखता रहता है काम कब करता है. So make your focus professional. What has to come will come. You don't have to bother. It comes, and it comes right in your pay slip. It comes properly, and you don't have to bother. It is good, but I am not going to compare it with the corporate sector.
I understand. Yes, sir.
A good corporate sector pays way above what a senior level person would draw in NABARD.
Absolutely.
And there is no bonus.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Ultimately, it's a government job. So
it's a government job. Yeah, you get your pay, you get your perks, you get a well-defined pension, and you go home.
And most of the places, as I understand, NABARD also have colonies, quarters for officers.
We have our own flats at most of the places now.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you are paid a reasonably good amount to have a accommodation on lease.
Yes.
You are having good medical facilities.
Yeah.
There are good empaneled hospitals everywhere.
Right.
You have a bank's medical officer to cater to your medical needs, who comes to the office and would give advice. So that is also there. Time to time, you get motivational inputs by way of good lectures also. For lady officers, there are special precautions. Like we even have a committee under POSCO to make sure, and the senior most lady officer heads it.
Yeah.
Even I or my colleagues, if we are leaving late and the officers are leaving late, we'll always ask, have all the ladies left?
Yes.
So they need not worry. Equal opportunity. They are supposed to, of course, work effectively, but we also look after everybody. You are looked after. Displacement is a fact of life. We have to adjust to it. And you have to be open to the idea that by the time you will retire, you are an all India man.
You are an all India man. Yes.
Your language, your way of speaking. And one thing more, let me add. This point, I thought about it yesterday, Mr. Joshi. It slipped. Be it Nagaland, be it Kerala, be it Kashmir. Even today, if I walk in, not to work, but to talk. Now I'm retired.
Yes.
But even in service, suppose I walk in, the basic structure is the same. The policies are the same.
Correct, correct.
You can sit down and within half an hour of talking and drinking a cup of coffee, you can start working. Because the basic structure is the same. There is not an iota of difference. You have to, it's so well defined, the delegation of power and policy framework, that you don't have to bother on that front. Yes, on the house front, children of Nabardines have done very well. Most have been academically good to qualify for NABARD. That genes do pass on, it seems, to the children.
Yes.
And then they travel across the country, they get to good opportunities. So be it abroad, be it India, most are doing very well.
Yes.
And we have educational loans. They can avail that also to educate their children.
Okay.
There's even an educational allowance, as and when they have children and they are growing up. So on that front, if you are ready to be broad-minded and you are ready to say, I assimilate cultures, it's a perfect opportunity to open up. I have one of my good colleagues settled at Combato. Even today, we have exchanged notes on the stock market on WhatsApp. He is retired. I'm retired.
Yes.
But we are exchanging notes.
Yeah.
That's his part hobby. It's my part hobby.
Right.
It continues.
Yes.
And I think it's a very good thing.
Yeah, we develop very strong bonding because for lifelong we are working in one organization, interacting in different offices, in colonies also, where we are interacting with the.
And then if you travel to staff college, you make friendships there. And yes, one thing is there. While we are outward focused on development, primarily we are internal driven.
Yes.
A lot of work happens within the office.
Correct.
So you have to develop your own ability to be more outward.
Yes.
And to reach out to people. Be open-minded, learn, and let me tell you, it's a model employer. I have no regrets. I have been well looked after while in service. Yes, there are ups and downs.
Yeah.
It could be places where I may have a regret or two. But these are part of the game, I realize, over a period of time. Overall, you are
Yeah.
looked after.
No, it's absolutely true, because the kind of my experience in RBI for about 6 years, so I think the best employer, and the same things had been copied in NABARD. I remember one time I was in NABARD office. We were for some inspection.
Mm,
So then NABARD people told us, "Do you know this allowance is coming?" I
mm,
think it was something very big, and I was not aware. I thought, okay, if you know it is coming, it means it is coming because you are aware of it, so it will of course come at both the places.
mm.
So that way it is NABARD, RBI, or other developmental institutions. So these are great institutions to work. But now the question is, because you are interacting with students also,
Mm.
how to prepare, because you have been met many of these students during the mock interview sessions. So you must have some guidance, some suggestions, what to do and what to know, what not to do when you are preparing for these exams, because the competition is also very tough.
See, the competition is tough.
Yeah.
I do not deny that. And my first point is, if you don't mind my saying,
Yes.
mobile ko chhod do.
Yes, sir.
Do not read on the mobile.
Hmm.
Number two, do not prepare for the interview again on the mobile,
Yes.
because your mind has a bias.
Hmm.
It reads what it wants to read on a small screen or even on an iPad.
Hmm.
Learn to buy books and magazines.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even today, I'll say this.
Hmm.
Now, coming to the basics,
Hmm.
if you are intending to apply for NABARD or even RBI, because
Hmm.
I've coached even them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and even civils, I can't say. I
Yeah.
never tried, but
Right.
yes, I do know about it.
Hmm.
Start by reading one or two newspapers daily
Yeah.
and read each page, go through and understand what the newspaper wants to say.
Right.
One of it should be a financial paper.
Correct.
One or two should be good daily newspapers.
Hmm.
Subscribe to one or two magazines,
Hmm.
be it India Today or Frontline or anything on that side,
Hmm.
not purely a competitive journal,
Hmm. Hmm.
because you get a broad-based knowledge.
Hmm.
These exams are not going to test you only on your ratta.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you can rote up and you can simply go and give it out.
Because you have to write descriptive
Yes.
answers also. Yeah.
So you have the mains coming up. The
Yes.
prelims maybe you can manage.
Right. Right.
So start doing that wide-based reading, which gives you deep insights into what makes India tick,
Hmm.
what are the policies coming up, where are they leading the country,
Yeah.
where were we earlier. Maybe
Hmm.
you could read about Al-Baruni saying in
Hmm.
1000 AD,
Hmm.
Indians
Hmm.
are very theoretical.
Hmm.
They abjure the engineering skills.
Yeah.
And then you can see where we are reaching today. So start reading
Hmm.
deeply, then start
Yes, sir.
having an understanding of economics,
Hmm.
especially applied economics.
Right. Economics. Hmm.
You must be aware.
Yeah.
You must know the Indian economy,
Hmm.
the planning system, Niti Aayog's role of the state governments, role of the central government, RBI, NABARD, etc. And how does it make an impact at the ground level? And what are the policies which define it? Data, from where do you source it? How do we work upon data?
Hmm.
If you are doing this in-depth reading and then start defining your role and coming down to prelims and looking at specific areas to even rote up or even to focus upon, it makes your job
Hmm.
easier, because your words which you are reading are speaking to you.
Hmm.
You have been reading them generally. Now you are trying to maybe mug them up,
Hmm.
but at least you knew what it was all about. It's not something new for you. When you come to the mains, you must have an understanding of even gender, because there are questions on that,
Yes.
sociology, tribes, communities, deprived communities, building up deprived communities,
Hmm.
looking at how skill development can occur.
Right.
These may sound boring, but they have to be read and understood and seen where it leads to.
Hmm.
If you are reading this, your preparations are more or less in tune with what
Hmm.
you seek to come in. And go through the previous question papers.
Yes.
Normally, they are an index to what is lies in store for you.
Right.
You must read the balance sheet. Say if you're reading for NABARD, last 2 years balance sheet you must read through, our annual report rather, because the annual report defines everything. It sets out the mandate, it sets out what we functioned on, and 2 years gives you a good perspective. Do that also. If you have done this reading, plus some reading of Kurukshetra as the journal,
yes,
it helps a lot. But beyond that, do not spread your reading too fast.
Right.
Then you lose your track of what you are up to. Your reading has to be a little defined. Journal reading continue. For the exam, start narrowing it down as much as you can. And for the interview, please do not listen, and I'm saying this with due regards to you. Please do not answer questions which everybody wants to answer. मैं देश सेवा करना चाहता हूँ.
हाँ, I fully agree with this, sir. मतलब I तो say
पूरा रट्टा मार के आके बोल रहे हैं मॉक में.
Yeah.
मैं कहा बेटा ये कहाँ से सीख के आ गया?
हाँ.
I can make out in 2 minutes this is a hollow answer.
Yes.
Your personality, the way you are appearing, your knowledge should speak for you as a person.
Right.
That immediately makes an impact. Right. And if I answer question 5 different areas, one after another, and you're reasonably competent on all 5, you have already made a good impression on me. You need not be a smooth talker.
Correct. No, in fact,
person who has substance, पता चल जाता है.
No, I can also add a line on this because many people say that I do not know which coaching institute is teaching all this to these students कि मैं देश सेवा करना चाहता हूँ. मैंने बोला यार इसका मतलब क्या है कि those who are working in private sector, so are not they doing service for the country, service for the humanity? So nowadays we have been affected, we have been benefited so much by the technology or maybe by the medicines which has been invented in the private sector, or चाहे वो कोरोना की वैक्सीन हो, चाहे वो ये मोबाइल फोन हो. So we all are benefited by the development which is happening in the private sector. ये तो कोई लॉजिक ही नहीं हुआ कि if you are working for nation or working for the people, so you have to necessarily come to a government sector. So this looks very bookish. बहुत बुकिश लगता है वो. मतलब पहला ही आंसर आपका सारा
impression. Some people come to you only for interview.
Yeah.
They do not come to you through the written test wala route.
Right.
I found some of them, maybe they have gone to 3 other places. I told one person, this is, you call it body shopping, here I will call it your coaching shopping.
Yeah, right.
There is no magic anywhere.
Correct.
The magic lies in your answer.
Yes.
There is no magic with Dinesh Kumar Kapila. I can sit with you, I can build your perspective, I can mold it.
Bilkul.
And if once you have spoken, I can tell you, if you could have answered this way, it would have sounded better, or started with this.
Because your answer will be your answer. It has to be unique as per your understanding. You can't copy my answer, my background, my understanding, my learning. Everything is very different.
And what I'm saying, maybe at 63, is very different from what a person of 25 should say.
Again, yes, absolutely.
That also is a difference.
Bilkul.
So, students, if they have read well, if they have focused, and if they have an understanding, all that they learn must know is how to articulate, and have the confidence to articulate. Because sometimes this is a handicap. A good coaching institution can help them overcome this, the hesitation, the shyness to speak. Because unless you speak, you can't make me aware of what you know or don't. If that can happen, the students don't require much more than that. If they are talented enough to reach the interview, they should have that ability to have the self-confidence that I know my subject, but they should in their mind play their answers and keep defining those answers. Why do you want to join, say, from Canara Bank, NABARD? His answer should be molded as per his requirements.
Absolutely correct.
And one thing nahi कहना है, सर मेरे को वहां मुश्किल बहुत हो रही है, comfort. Right?
Because आप जहां पर employed हो, आप वहां के pain बताते जाओगे and you are showing lot of dissatisfaction, so that is also a problem.
That is also a negative. So today I thought I must through you emphasize, do not decry your previous employer.
Of course.
And do not say comfort. यहाँ comfort नहीं है. I have worked till 8 regularly. I have worked late hours, even at a junior level. Even when RADF came, I was in that team. Youngsters today may be surprised. We had a very tough CGM, very hard driving, a very good man, but very hard driving, focused. Trust me, 3 times, 12 o'clock at night, I went to his house and with my boss and said, Sir, ye appraisal paper तैयार है. And he gave us a cup of coffee and at 1 o'clock said, Done, ले जाओ. तो ऐसा नहीं है that some people came with concepts of work-life balance. No, sorry. 5 बजे जाने का कोई balance नहीं होता है. You have to find that route yourself.
Yes.
But yes, please do not be negative about your previous employer.
Right.
And do not use words like comfort and all. Tell us your expectations in number of work.
Yeah.
And you can always say, I look forward to working at States in a multicultural setup. No problems. But do not give rata rataya and these sort of answers.
Right. Sir, one more thing here. So, do you think that the background of the candidate makes any difference if somebody studied economics or agriculture or something more related to the rural economy or having some work experience in bank or other financial institutions, and somebody is a fresher, an engineer coming from a very different background than working in agriculture or rural development? So, does it make any difference in the selection process?
See, I would not say, mains and prelims, no difference. You are coming through the route. Of course, you have certain specialists positions or specializations rather.
Right.
There you are already tested.
Yeah.
Now coming to interview or even after joining NABARD. Well, I was told even this is one apprehension. See, it's Rural Development Banking Service. NABARD has a theory, and I stand by it. You can't have a particular stream only contributing. We all make a difference together. A finance man brings his perspective. An agriculture graduate brings his or her perspective. A humanities person brings his or her perspective. And so does an engineering person.
Right.
We may seek to use your professional skills and you have worked somewhere in a bank, maybe in supervision straight away. Yeah. Because you're already familiar with that world.
Right.
Or I can maybe look at, testing you straight away based on your education in a particular field or sector where I feel NABARD could make use of you straight away.
Yes.
But remember, none of them is a banker.
Right.
An agriculture person has come.
Right.
Frankly speaking, I'm not sending a person to a sugarcane field or a wheat field. There is financial inclusion. There is microcredit. This has nothing to do with agriculture per se.
Right.
Short refinancing, nothing to do with agriculture. RIDF, just about nothing to do with agriculture except understanding the benefits accruing to rural areas and agriculture outputs or inputs. So if you look at it carefully, all have to learn and relearn. I know agriculture, but I don't know finance. Yeah. So I've told one or two good youngsters who came from agriculture background, CIB kar lo. Finance kar lo. This is your weakness. You can't keep on beating the same drum of productivity and income increase. You have to diversify your knowledge. So pick up this so that by the time, if not from grade B, you are going for AGM, you can say, I have got and broadened my knowledge, acquired CIB, done maybe a diploma in finance, and now more at home with the subject. Same applies to, say, a finance man. He must know what is Indian agriculture. A person like me, I sought guidance from a mentor. He told me there are 2 standard books on irrigation and agriculture.
Yeah.
I read them page by page. So I read that. My team in Kashmir, I told them, Project Finance by J. Price Gittinger. Puri pad jao.
Okay.
It will give you a beautiful input on agriculture financing and investment banking.
Okay.
They read that. So you have to, each person has some gap which he has to address, whatever be his specialization. And no one should say, मैं तो जी CA करके आया या MBA finance and मुझे microfinance में लगा दिए.
Right.
You are expected to perform.
बिल्कुल.
Bring your specialization into play where it required. Where you are posted also. But overall, Each person has to contribute.
Right.
So there is then ultimately a common body of knowledge, developmental perspectives, how states work,
Yeah.
how cultures work.
Correct.
Then your application of mind can come about. But each specialist certainly brings value, but it cannot be the only value you bring.
Yeah. So NABARD,
So
yeah,
underconfidence नहीं होना चाहिए.
Because that is very, very important. You have to assimilate in the organization and go as per the organizational priorities.
Yes, yes.
वो बहुत
I want to stress that because I found some people asking me even privately,
हाँ
सर वेरी गुड इंटरव्यू सर आपने समझा दिया बट बाद में कहीं मैं पीछे ना रह जाऊं.
हाँ
मैं
हाँ
आप पीछे नहीं रहेंगे प्रोवाइडेड यू पिक अप.
you pick up and
योर
you
प्रोफेशनलिज्म शुड स्पीक.
बिल्कुल because the mandate of the organization is the prime thing. Whether I like this work or that work, that is secondary.
Yes, yes, yes.
So some people have this question because NABARD recruits both at grade A and grade B level. So how does it makes a difference in the career progression overall over the period of time if you join as a grade A or grade B?
See, the impact is self-evident, Mr. Joshi. I will not deny it also.
Yeah.
I am not going to deny it. But I look at it this way. Maybe the human resource department and the seniors in Bombay are engaged in manpower planning.
Okay.
So maybe you feel a certain number of people of certain age are required at a certain level later on over 20, 30 years.
Okay.
Now, that can only happen if I recruit today because we don't have lateral hiring mostly.
Yes, yes, yes.
We join right down and we go all the way up.
Right.
So I have to do my planning exercise today.
Right.
Perhaps this is their thought. My thought could be that maybe a couple of years of work if added to it, would be better. That's my personal perspective as Dinesh Kumar Kapila retired CGM.
Right.
But as a serving person, I would look at it that inherently maybe you're looking at an age mix. Right. If everybody is in his say 50s or late 50s, maybe you're looking forward to having a few who are in the earlier part of 50s so that they get a longer contribution to build perspective and go even higher. So that being the case, these exercises, you will agree, Mr. Joshi, happens even in the civils. Now you give so many chances. Someone joining at 33, 34.
Yes.
He can't expect to be the cabinet secretary.
Yeah, it will
But
happen.
a person joining at 21, 22.
Yes, he only can. Yeah.
He only can.
That's the reality.
These things happen.
In fact, I am very openly saying it. There is no point continuing preparation of any of these government exam for years and years. Like you are 28, 29, 30, 32. So you have to actually plan for other jobs also in between because I will say it again. I said in one of my other video. I don't really advocate that somebody shall become Manoj Sharma because in making one Manoj Sharma, there are thousands of young graduates who spoil their career. Maybe the number goes multiple thousands.
Mr. Joshi, I'll supplement you. I'll not take names.
Yes, sir.
There was a youngster with me at one place. I don't want to go into specifics, kindly, because of confidentiality. I respect his privacy. 9 attempts at civils.
Right.
And spoiled his career here also.
Okay.
I told him, young man, I feel for you. Give it up. It's not worth it.
Yes. It's not worth beyond a point. Yeah.
Yes. Up to a point, I would have said yes.
Yeah, correct.
Whether it was 9 or 6, okay, I'm forgetting. But when you're into your 30s, high time, you'd say to yourself, जिंदगी में और भी बहुत कुछ है.
जिंदगी में और भी बहुत कुछ है करने के लिए.
इधर आजा, हमारे साथ रहे, do well, and be happy with us. Why are you distressing yourself to this extent?
Yes.
And even otherwise, in Chandigarh, one or two coaching institutions, when they called me, I said the same.
Right.
20s, a little bit of late 20s, kar lo. After that, one day simply say, bahut ho gaya. Go to Indian School of Business, go to IIMs, go wherever you can, find your career pathway, but don't waste your time.
Right.
And then what happens? The more time you spend preparing, And even if you join, say, RBI or NABARD and you still don't get through, your level of confidence goes down. So build on it up to a point.
Yeah.
And then learn to say, that's enough. I'm moving on in life.
Yes.
That's my fundamental viewpoint.
Yes, sir. Agree. So one last thing, because I have taken a lot of time and the discussion is going so naturally with you. Lot many things I can understand from my experience. So one more thing I am asking out of my experience, because I have also worked in the microfinance sector, and NABARD has been the institution which has brought SHG to India, SHG lending to India, and the SHG bank link is one of the favorite, one of the brainchild of the NABARD. It has reached to, I believe, close to 3 crore families in the country, poor families in the country, creating huge impact when it comes to the development and also women empowerment.
Oh,
So
yes.
your thoughts, your experiences on SHG bank linkage, I would like to know
See,
this for the interest of audience also. So,
I spearheaded this for Chinmay Tapovan Trust in Kangra.
okay.
There was a lady there.
Hmm.
When I saw her first time, she spoke so confidently in the group. Later on, they took her as an person to disseminate information within the Chinmay Tapovan Trust.
Okay.
They are a very good body. High regard I have for them. I started with them. Now I'm out of touch totally. I'm talking way back, 20, 30 years back. Then I invited her to Shimla with the permission of my boss.
Right, sir.
She could not speak in the meeting because the environment had changed. It was over a village. So we had to tell her, don't worry, it's okay.
Yeah.
6 months later, she conveyed through somebody, आप मौका दीजिए.
अच्छा.
The way she spoke. So while I know the data, I'm not going to go into data.
Yeah.
My motivator was the eyes of the people I met. Self-confidence, which I see, the ability to speak, which comes about, the knowledge which improves, and the knowledge of even banking.
Yeah.
You see, once I called some ladies in Ropar to a hotel. They said, हम बड़े खुश हैं, हम ग्रुप के मेंबर बने. हम इस होटल में पाँव ना रखते थे डर के मारे.
बिल्कुल.
आज हम आराम से बैठ के आपसे बात करके गए.
बात कर रहे हैं.
So that self-confidence, that sense of knowledge, that sense which drives people to say, I can do more.
Yeah.
And I'm aware.
Yes.
That has no price.
Right.
That 10,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees a loan is nothing before this aspect also.
Yeah.
I give it so much value. And how much they learn. We at a T point financed a small rural mart. That was near Ropar, Chamkaur Sahib. These ladies went to Ambala and bought wholesale material and sold it there after stitching suits out of it. They picked up the commercial side also. But I also learned patience.
Yes, sir.
When they set up small enterprises, one day one lady fired me. I just walked into her beauty parlor.
Yeah.
She said in Punjabi, I'm putting it in simple English, what do you teach me? I'm down in debt. I don't know what to do with my life. My husband is criticizing me. Then came Diwali and Karwa Chauth. Her business went up. Next time I went, she was all smiles. Takes time. Entrepreneurship takes time to come out, give fruitful results. Yes. You have to have the ability to sit with them and guide them through and hold hands, or have an agency which is willing to do that, because we are short-staffed. We are not too many. But you must teach the people with you from the NGO, hold their hand and just take them through those few months or year. Once you're through that, your life is made. Yes. And for me, I say that is done. I mentor people even today on that basis. Yeah. Mostly I just have a cup of coffee and tell them, beta, 2-3 baar aa jao. Don't come after that if possible. But if you have picked up what you should pick up, don't look back. Right. Look forward.
This is absolutely great, because as you said, data is there, but the experience of these people and the life-changing experience of these people going into these kind of hotels and speaking in media So because I have also closely worked in microfinance when I was in Yes Bank, and seen in addition to money, which the woman empowerment angle is really changing the entire family environment.
See, I will also not deny the negatives.
Yeah.
Overlending,
Hmm.
people are taking more credit than required,
Hmm.
getting into distress. I do agree it is there.
Right.
But this part, I am not ready to negate
Hmm.
that so much more has occurred.
Hmm.
Now, as we open up the markets, errors will occur.
Yes.
Earlier, it was purely bank-led.
Right. Now it is
Then,
more
then,
NBFC led.
then slowly MFIs made their way.
MFIs. Yeah.
There could be more aggression.
Right.
Banks could be more laid back.
Right.
These are professional issues to discuss separately.
Correct. Correct.
But the main impact that these movements have made,
Hmm.
we cannot deny it at the ground level.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it has been not projected so well by the media.
Hmm.
Somehow, and
Hmm.
I'll say that sadly, the Bangladesh Grameen Bank model
Yeah.
tends to get into everyone's mind.
Right.
People seem to be not aware of so much groundwork done in India.
Right.
This
Agree.
is one part which maybe demotivates some students or some officers who join,
Hmm.
that the media as such does not give. See, even in our national level media,
Hmm.
you don't have specific time slots
Hmm.
where they go and do developmental shooting.
Okay. Hmm.
Groups, development on track farm mechanization and then the benefits, how
Hmm.
Madhya Pradesh has come up.
Hmm.
I'm not talking of the politics of it, that's
Hmm.
separate.
Hmm.
I'm talking of people saying how their lives have changed by a certain technology or a certain method.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then, you feel a little short-changed and left out.
Hmm.
We somehow don't have that ability. We get so much into the politics of it
Yeah.
that even if you give it to a newspaper, you
Hmm.
get two paragraphs tucked away on the economics page. What you require is sometimes some more projection. If that would happen, I'm sure developmental professionals, I'm not only to NABARD and all, I'm talking even of CSR bodies.
Right. Right.
I meet very good CSR professionals
Hmm.
because I am associated presently
Hmm.
as senior vice president with the Society for the Blind Chandigarh. So
Okay.
they do come there. I
Okay.
find some very committed youngsters who
Hmm.
don't come just there. They are
Hmm.
working across villages and across many other areas of empowerment.
Hmm.
But they all say, we don't get a voice. Now, how do we give them a voice? That's
Hmm.
a separate issue. But if that happens,
Hmm.
our youngsters would be a happier lot.
So in case,
Recognition matters.
yeah, so in case of Bangladesh Grameen Bank, I am thinking loudly because I don't know this much about Bangladesh Grameen Bank's model. So I know the model. I know Professor Yunus got the Nobel Prize. So because I am just trying to understand, you have rightly mentioned that it was not in India, though the number of people benefited are much larger, but still we do not get that kind of highlight. So maybe the reason is that in India there are multiple institutions like NABARD, then bank, then NBFC, then FIs and NGOs also, multiple institutions. And in Bangladesh, it was primarily Bangladesh Grameen
Yes.
Bank. Is that the reason?
And I think he also had the ability to be a good public speaker
Okay.
and to disseminate his information
Hmm.
very well at platforms which matter.
Okay. Okay.
We perhaps being evolved from the RBI, maybe I'm just giving a
Hmm.
loud thought
Conservatism in communication.
in
Yes.
opening out because there are so many people ready to give their own viewpoint.
Right. Right.
Post retirement, I realize I
Right.
did not know so many people in Chandigarh are also economists or knowing credit flow. It's
Hmm.
a puzzle. They don't know actually, but
Yes.
everybody seems to have a viewpoint on it.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
so maybe that way. But yes,
Possible.
this does matter.
Yeah.
Maybe having some area where we can say this is what has happened, this is how it has changed. I
Yeah.
at least on my blog have tried.
Right. Right.
I have a blog. I write on it time
Mhm.
to time. I write on anything. So it's
Right.
not going to be if you blog, go there, you are going to find only development. You are
Right.
going to find humor, military,
Right.
everything. But
Hmm.
I write this also. And
Hmm.
I share the success stories which I found over the years.
Okay.
Because I'm a firm believer, if I find something successful, and I share with you and 30 more,
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
it starts making a difference to 30 people, if not to 10. Those
Yeah.
10 will tell another 10.
Right.
This works.
Okay.
So success leads to success. Disseminate success and support youngsters who would go into this field, or anybody for that matter.
No, this is great because now you have mentioned about your blog. So I will also try to read some of the blog, and maybe next session when we do, we can talk about other issues other than NABARD. And ultimately, these are also going to help these youngsters,
Hmm.
as you said in between, that it is about developing our overall faculties, unfolding our talent, because every one of us is very unique. We
Yes.
always talk about that. So we will definitely like to
And
cover
maybe
this
if you
here.
buy my book, The Varied Hues of Life,
What is the name of the book, sir?
The Varied Hues of Life,
Okay, varied use of
Hues
life.
of Life,
Yeah.
it's available on Amazon and Flipkart by
Okay.
White Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
This is development I've not brought in.
Hmm.
This is a book more about my personal experiences,
Okay.
insights,
Yeah.
and my observations of life as such.
Right.
Maybe if you go through, you
Yeah.
can maybe understand me as a person better also. And it
So
may
I
be
will, I
setting a
will
perspective.
definitely. So what I have done, sir, in last about 6 months, I have been trying to read more.
Hmm.
I somewhere realized it is very important now me to read again. For some
Hmm.
years, I was reading lesser. So now I keep on buying the book so that
Hmm.
there is more pressure on me.
Hmm.
I will show you. So it was not planned, but see how many books I have kept here also in my office, and double the number I have at my home. So
Hmm.
these are the books at my
Okay.
list here. So almost half I have read,
Hmm.
half all the books. So I read multiple books at a time.
Hmm.
So I will buy. It may take me a 6 month or a year time to complete the book. So I am buying. I
Oh,
am
yes.
accumulating, and
It gives
I will
fantastic
read it.
insights if
Yeah.
you do so. It gives
Right.
always insights. Any book gives insight
Right. Right.
because
No.
any author,
Hmm.
whatever he may say so, is
Hmm.
actually playing his point of view.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Always.
Yeah. So
So,
correct, correct.
uh,
Because the perspective also is like that. No, we see
yes.
the world from our point of view.
Yes.
So it is nothing right or nothing wrong.
Hmm.
But when we have like tens and hundreds of such point of view, then we are better informed.
Yes. Yes. You
So
get a detailed opinion
you
about
have,
yourself.
yeah, you have assimilated your lifetime experience in a book.
Hmm.
So by investing, say, maybe 5 hours or 10 hours in reading that book, I
Hmm.
am getting all your experience and the
Yes.
brighter part of it.
Yes.
Because nobody writes the worst part of it. Mostly, some
Yeah.
5% will be there. Mostly, it will be the brighter part of it.
See, I always say, दुखी आत्मा बनने से कोई फायदा नहीं.
करेक्ट करेक्ट कोई फायदा नहीं या उससे कुछ होगा तो है नहीं वी
Problems
ऑलवेज
are going
हैव
to come.
पेशेंस हाँ
Problems
वी
will
ऑलवेज
certainly
हैव
come.
या
But
हम
try and move ahead in life.
यस 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 यस
That's all. Always push on.
right absolutely agree sir so this is great to meet you sir and
Thank
so
you.
grateful for your time
Hmm.
I have been thinking like it will be a short discussion but with you things kept on unfolding and there are many things to talk I am very sure that after reading your book I will come for another session and we will go beyond NABARD that will be still very relevant for the youth of the country and our objective at iExamB is to help people help youngsters unfold their potential so that they can become better in their career and they can become better individual also.
Oh, yes.
I am so grateful to you that you are associated with iExamB and you agreed for giving your time here. Thank you very much, sir. Great connecting.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I am grateful for this opportunity and I look forward to any interaction on any aspect. I am game for anything. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.